So we got our application registration and login working perfectly now, but there is one problem we did. Every time we open the application, we have to log in, which is kind of annoying. So we are going to implement a function that will automatically logs in our user if automatically will go to the application if a user is logged in. So let's go to app delegate, and here on top I'm going to create a variable and I'm going to call this auth listener, and this is going to be a type of listener. This is going to be a type of auth state did change handler, and it's going to be an optional. So in our app did finish launching with options, right under the Firebase configure, we are going to write our code to listen when the authentication status changes. So I'm going to put a note here, and we're going to use our auth listener here, and this is going to be equals to authenticator, and then we say add state did change listener, and we are going to add our current, just click enter here. The authenticator will be this variable name I'm going to call auth, and the user I'm going to call it user, this variable name. And this block of code here will run every time our user login state changes. But we want to do this only once, because we don't want to call the function whatever is going to be happening here when our user is inside the application, so it doesn't call multiple times this function here. So what we are going to do, as soon as we get this first time, we are going to stop listening for these changes. So I'm going to say authenticator, and I'm going to remove state the change listener, and here we are going to pass a listener, which is our authentication listener. So here we say it's equals to state the change listener, and as soon as we get something back, we are removing our listener. Then I'm going to check if we got this user here. Now we need to unwrap this. So we are going to check if we get a user here. So we say if user not equals to nil. Let's see what's the error here. Okay, we need to put a self there because this is inside our callback block. So we check if we have a user. It means we have a logged in user. So we are going to do another check. We are going to check if our user, because remember, every time we log in, we are saving a user in our local device, in user defaults more specifically. So I'm going to check if there is a user in our user defaults. So I'm saying if user defaults dot standard dot object for key, and the key we are saving our current user. If we go to fuser file here, and let's see, where is this? Fetch save user locally. Here we are saving our user under the key current user. So we are going to check if there is an object with the same key current user. So if I go here, I can pass my k current user key. And we're going to check if this is not equals to nil. So if it's not equals nil, it means we have a user here, and plus we have a user saved on our local device. So what we need to do here is we need to skip this screen and we are going to go to the our application. So we have a function already for this, the go to app function. So we are going to say self dot go to app. So I'm going to call this function, but first of all, this function doesn't exist yet in our app delegate. And second, we want to do this in the main thread because this is called on a background thread. So we are going to do this doing dispatch queue main asynchronously. And this code we are going to call this inside here. So we get on the main thread and then we move to our app. So if I go to my go to app function here, let's go ahead and copy it from here. And I'm going to put this right here at the bottom before we close our parentheses here. So I'm going to say mark go to app, and I'm going to paste the function here. Let's get rid of this code because we don't have it here. What is more important here is the part where presenting our main application here, which is a tab bar controller. But unlike our view here, our app delegate is not a view controller, so it cannot access the present main this view animated through. So instead of this function, we are going to do another function. Here we have our root view here as a UI window. So we are going to use that in order to present our view. So I'm deleting this one, and instead I'm saying self.window, and then we are accessing the root view controller is equals to main view here. So we are setting our root view controller to this view here. And we are going to do another thing here, which actually we are going to do in all go to app functions, not only here. We have one more in welcome and one more in finish registration. We are going to post a notification that our user is logged in. We are going to use this later on. We're going to listen for this notification later on. But since we are here, let's write the code for this as well. So I'm going to access notification center, and we get the default center. And I'm going to say post, and we're going to post a notification which object and user info, which is the one here. So the name is going to be user _did login notification, and this code you can find it in our constants.swift file. So we have two types of notification: app started notification and user did login notification, which is just a representation of these words. Okay, so this is the name. The object is going to be nil. And user info, here we can pass some information, and it's a key value paired, as you can see. So we are going to pass a key which is k user ID, and the value is going to be f user, and we are going to access the class function current ID. As you know, this function of our f user current ID is returning the object ID of currently logged in user. So we are passing this information to our notification center. Alright, so this is it. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it here in our welcome and in our finish registration go to app functions. So every time our user logs in, we need to post this notification. So let's run our application. Let's see what's the problem here. And we need to Cannot convert the value of string expected argument NS notification name. Alright, we just convert this to an NS notification name and we pass our value there. Let me fix this here. And we fix it here as well. And now that we have no more errors, we can run our application and see if it's going to auto login our user to our application. You see, it skipped the login screen and we are in the app right now, which is what we want to do.